Done. We're dealing with hardships. If Jesus wept, so the fuck can you. Mean it, dude. Hey, it's really tough out here, you know, like we're all told that men are a certain way, and men are only allowed to be tough and grunt and piss and moan and kick ass and take names and be confident and you know, be the biggest swinging you know, arm in the room and have that confidence. And that's bullshit, man. Half of that is bullshit. It's for men by men. It's about dominance. It's not about desirability, you know. There's certain things that are important, you know, like being confident, but being confident comes with knowing who the fuck you are and why you are that way. You know, that's that why you are that way is what drives people, because the reality, son, we're talking about hardships here, man. We all have hardships, but how we go through hardships is really the key factor, right? So why do everybody follow influencers? Because it looks like they go through hardships in a more confident and comfortable way than we do, you know. And that's the main commodity here, is comfort. Don't get it twisted. It ain't about cash. It ain't about the hot girl, like the trophy wife, the trophy girl. It ain't about any of those things. It's the main commodity. Don't get it twisted, son. It's all about comfort. If your people are selling comfort, oh, you got the hottest girls, you don't have to worry about girls anymore. That's comfort. You know, you're desired, you're accepted. There's no possibility for rejection at that point. That's comfort. You know, you want lots of cash, you can do whatever you want. Again, that's people desiring you. Jealousy, envy, they're after you. There's no rejection there. You're set. Comfort. That's what they're selling, son. Those aren't real. Those aren't real. Everybody thinks when they finally hit it and they make it big, it's gonna be fine. And that shit ain't true. Because all that does is it reveals a lot of people that are jealous of you. And then they start having a lot of hate in their heart. You've got to be extremely careful about who you tell bad news to, right? Because they like to harp on it, and sometimes they'll heap stuff onto it and make it worse. Well, have you thought about this? Oh, that's really terrible. Like, is it really? Or do I just feel terrible about it? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe things are falling together, not falling apart. You little crooked person. You know, be careful about who you let people into your life, man. So hardships are really important, but you know, one of the most important things is being extremely careful about who you tell good things to, because that corrupts people's heart, man. You got to have like people that are actually out for your best interest and actually love you, you know, that don't just say lip service, I love you. You know, they spend their time and their money showing you they love you. You know, they back you up on things. They don't talk you out of things. They build you up. You know, they talk you out of stupid things, but they build you up and build your confidence up. You know, they feed your fire, man. They don't put it out. So, you know, the reality is like hardships are hardships, man. And how we go through those hardships is really important. So it ain't about, you know, being the strongest guy, you know, and that's what gets all the women. That's, even in apes, they prove that shit isn't right. It's not true. You know, like, you could take the biggest, baddest ape that comes around. He's the meanest son of a bitch there is. You know, and yeah, for sure. At one point, he may be in power, but eventually, they all rise up and they end up destroying this fucking. They kill him. You know, sometimes it takes a little time, but there's usually some pretty devastating circumstances that come to pass in most cases. But there, you know, what's highly desirable sociologically in the ape population is people that are connectors. They're builders. They're community builders. They connect with each other. And dude, that's the reality, man. It's like, it just comes down to comfort. You know, people want to feel safe. I know I lost track on now because I don't really care about the whole ape situation. I'm just saying, like, if it was really about being strong and dominant, and that's what you get all the girls, like, yeah, hey, there's some groupies out there for sure. Yeah, groupies love to do that shit. Who's the BBD, man? Bigger, better deal. Not bigger, better dick. It's the bigger, better deal. They're always looking for the bigger, better deal. And it doesn't matter, dude, at some point, just like women, like, you could have the hottest girl, you know, and I'll tell you what, son, if that's all you have is the vanity of it, the looks, you know, the pride of saying she's the hottest, eventually, man, a lot of that stuff is the same. Damn near similar, you know. You get tired of it. So same thing with women and the old big swinger, you know, like eventually they get tired of sharing, you know, or they get tired of the bullshit flirting and the constant, like, there's no security at times. Eventually they just get tired of that kind of shit if there's no substance to the relationship. And usually when it's vanity based, there ain't nothing there, man. I'm swinging way out of bounds here, you know, from my original point, but these all go back to some of our main hurts, man. Our main problems are in relationships, and all the things we do for people we don't like. We buy shit we don't need. We don't need it to impress people we don't like with money that we don't have. You know, we're borrowing money or things like, it's a joke, you know. So, you know, I try like hell to just avoid vain people and empty, virtuous people like the plague, man. They don't mean anything to me. They don't benefit me. They don't put any flame to my fire, and they're not letting me do that because I don't operate that way. I'm not the worst looking guy, man, but I don't. If vanity is your main virtue, you're gonna do some hoe shit. You're gonna do some compromising things. So there better be more. But hurt itself, being hurt, how we go through that hurt is what is attractive to people. If we can figure out why we're hurting and we understand ourselves and we're able to walk through that hurt, that is impressive to a lot of people, because most people just drown and then they do anything and everything, spending money to buy things they don't need, to impress people they don't like with money they don't have, out of desperation, the drowning man syndrome, just to have some simulation that they're gonna be okay, instead of just going back to God and having faith, walking through it, understanding the process, and just living through the moment. Here's my whole point, son, is we gotta have better virtues. You gotta develop your virtues, and that's the name of the game. Because the man that develops his virtues and he understands himself is the man that's the most attractive to real hot women. I'm talking about real hot women, not just good-looking little girls. Like, that's cool, but that's gonna ruin your fucking life, I promise you, because they don't know what the fuck they want. Just like little boys don't know what they want, jumping from flower to flower, you know, thinking that they just need to get laid a lot of times, you know, and they're the man, and little girls will entertain that shit because they don't know any better. I'm telling you that they'll turn, they eventually all turn and take it out on you, dude, and you're gonna pay for every other guy who was growing up. It's really smart to get invested with a woman who understands her own virtues, her values, and, you know, obviously she's got to take care of herself, you know. Yeah, so the reality is, man, Relationships are one of the major components of hurt, and one of the major components of life and influence of manhood is about being attractive. And attractiveness is not through what most men are selling other men, you know, which is like, you got to go be a UFC fighter, you got to dominate the room, you got to walk in, you actually have to have the biggest, you know. It's like, those things aren't true, man. They're not true. Because for women, it's all in the mind, dude. And men, we're all in the physical. Everything is about a physical. Who's the tallest? Who's the strongest? You know, it's all physical form, physical performance. Who has the longest stamina to run and dominate? You know, it's like, who has the best hand-eye coordination, balance, strength? You know, it's like, that's what men do. Men sell men on this kind of shit, to dominate each other. It's just a big game, man. See it for what it is. It's a game. Have fun with it. Don't hate it. You know, but realize the difference. For women, it ain't about that shit. Women love to see the guy at the top of the pile, for sure. For sure. 100%. But play chess with men. Don't play checkers, dude. 1 for 1 is retarded. You know, there's always a bigger, better, stronger, somehow, some way. Play chess, man. Outwit, use your brains too, because brains are just as important as bronze. But you gotta have both, and that shit's attractive, because there's a lot of women out there looking for a good partner, dude. And having somebody that has the physical connection with their, you know, with their mental connection and emotional connection, it's super attractive. So don't get caught up in the hurt, bud, and in the game. Play the game. Don't get caught up in the game. Remember, it's something you're playing. It's not who you are. And people are more attracted to your value, your virtue, and how you deal with hurt, how you deal with struggle. You can deal with struggle and hurt confidently and process through it. You know, not that it doesn't hurt, but if you need to, it's your ability to bounce back, you know, to full strength. That's what is impressive to people. If I had to put it into words, like, I can cry. If Jesus wept, dude, I cry. I promise you, right? I cry about the things that are like meaningful to me, man. My virtues. If something goes wrong, somebody dies unexpectedly or horribly, like that shit hurts, man, and I weep over it. You know, it's a loss and I'm mourning it. But the reality is like, I gotta accept that, and then I gotta move forward. And that ability to move forward, to feel those feelings and then move forward, that scares people, because you're then unstoppable. Most people are terrified to touch the feelings, because they feel like if they touch the feelings, they'll disintegrate. They'll never make it back. And so if you're able to touch the feelings and then come back 100%, that scares the shit out of people, man, because that's power. That's power. You could destroy me and I can rebuild, and that's scary, dude. That's super scary for people. Anyways, I just wanted to share those thoughts. I love you. I can't wait to see you. I'm gonna see you in a week, dude, and I'm just gonna keep sharing thoughts, man. Sharing thoughts. Love you, son. Proud of you. Wherever you are. You hear me?